And hello, everybody. This is Shahir Sheikh, and I am back. Bruno's not here. He's the usual host for this one. But I am back with another episode of Building in Public, LARVOL CLIN Building in Public. And this is episode 49. We are, of course, with Kapana, who's a usual guest. And she's also heading the CLIN team, as you all probably already know, of course. She has a lot of efforts in Larval Clan itself, and we would continue exploring as we'll try to continue from the last time where you left Kopana. If there's a lot to cover, of course, for Clint. But
Yeah,
before going into that, how are you doing?
all good, Shahir. Thank you for asking and thank you for having me for this session.
It's
Hello,
always a pleasure
everyone.
having you. So we already have some people tuned in, and let me just share the screen right away so you can jump into it, Kopana. And where are you going to start from today?
Okay, I'll just give a brief intro of the feed. Last time we have discussed about the feed, but I just wanted to tell the recent conferences, like we have just completed the WCLC and the IMS conferences. So you can see the feed over here. So it's really important feed. Sorry. So if you wanted to see the feed, it's free of cost. Just log into clin.larval.com and you should be able to see all the content, all the relevant content and the most updated content here.
It's perfect. As you move forward, Kapana, and since you mentioned the word conference, let me mention that Bruno Larvo, the person I'm filling in for, he's at the conference. He's probably at Pharma CI. It's the last day, and he's with Daniel Armijo. If you get to stop by, please go say hi. We love to talk. We love to interact. We would love to introduce you to Clint on the floor as well. But for now, Kapana is going to take over.
Yes. Okay. Since again you mentioned conferences, Shahir, just to have a continuity, recently we have completed the WCLC and the IMS conferences. So you can see the data over here. We like just for the intro sake, I just want to mention we cover all the major oncology conferences, okay, which are tagged to trials specifically. So for IMS, even though it is a myeloma alone conference, we have 144 abstracts which are related to trials. And for WCLC, we have 392 abstracts. And also you can see like we are covering the social media coverage. So we have 22 reactions at because that has just started. And for WCLC, which is completed in the first week of September, so it has 651 reactions. Again, whoever is interested, you can log into CLIN or without login also you can access for 15 minutes per day. So you can see like what is the content you are interested in and if anything of their interest, we'll be happy to do a demo.
Very nice. You
Okay.
mentioned you mentioned the number of reactions. I'd like to ask on behalf of the audience, maybe, how
Mhm.
frequently are we updating this? What's the frequency that we are maintaining or committing to the audience?
Yeah. So it's almost real time. So at the max, we'll be covering in 3 to 4 hours. Even though it's something like night time in India, we cover it 3 to 4 hours within that
So
time.
you're saying the tigers are working 24/7, no sleep.
Correct. Correct.
Thank you, everybody in
We
the team
wanted to
who's
give the
maintaining
real
that.
time data.
Absolutely, we gotta work around the clock, and we have a great team that supports us for that. And of course, Kampana leads that team. So please go ahead. I see that you have opened one of the conferences, or would you like
Yeah.
to touch something else? Go ahead with the
Okay.
conference. Maybe let's look at it slightly.
Sure. Okay. For IMS, like this is the conference which is ongoing. It started on September 17th and it will end by September 20. So we can see like till now, what is the data that is covered? Top trials by Onco by the expos, like we have certain trials, and the number of like expos is not too high because this is like in the mid of the conference. So we see a couple of analytics, top trials, top influencers, top companies, and we recently added the top diagnostics by abstracts and top genes by abstracts. So we are covering this information also.
Would you like to elaborate a little bit on this top diagnostics by abstracts part? How are we covering
Sure,
that?
sure. So diagnostic tests are one of the the recently booming field. So we had this data. We never thought like we will be showing that in CLIN till now, but seeing the engagement through our onco posts and all, we thought like, okay, let's show that in CLIN. And pharma companies will be very interested in seeing this test data. Like it would be very hard if a person has to go back and check each and every conference, like what are the diagnostic tests that are evaluated. But
Hmm.
in CLIN, you can see that information upfront. You can also filter the abstracts based on the based on the diagnostic test if you are interested in any specific test. But in conferences, we'll be displaying what are the top diagnostics that are evaluated based on the abstracts that are tagged to trials. That is one disclaimer I am just stressing upon because
Okay.
CLIN is all about trials.
Very nice.
Okay.
We keep improving and adding new things. Of course, we're trying to be as innovative and cover as much things as we can, so
Yes.
that it helps the users of Laravel Client. And by the way,
Correct.
as Kalpana jumps to, maybe the next thing that we can look at is mortalities. It
Mm,
could be the next good thing. But as you jump
correct.
into that, I'd like to clarify. Actually, I'd like to tell the audience again. Bruno has been
Mm,
repeatedly telling that on this podcast. We love to engage with people who maybe would be interested in Laravel Clean and would like to use it for non-commercial purposes. We can even grant you access completely free,
correct.
um,
Correct.
and yeah, test it out, try it out, and if you feel that there are certain areas that can be helpful to you, that's we are very happy that we are able to help. Of course, at the same time,
Mm,
um, your feedbacks are always very valuable to us because it helps us improve the product. And yeah, over to you,
yeah.
Kalpana.
Yeah. On a daily basis, we are getting a number of requests, Shahir. So we are giving the free access to all the oncologists and academic people. They are getting benefited with claim. Okay. And just as note on the diagnostics, we are very soon launching a tab specific to diagnostics where you can see the specific, if I'm interested in clonoSEQ diagnostic test. So there will be a specific page for that where you can see like what are the trials that are evaluated using this diagnostic test, the publications related to that, and all specifically.
Hmm. That's very
Yeah.
nice. That's very nice.
So
And
having said that, there is
mhm.
one new tab that is available. That is the modalities tab. So I'm just jumping on that. So consider this is a rev one of the modalities. We just started adding it. So right now we are having ADCs, IO, bispecifics, and CAR-T, which are the most important drug modalities or the drug categories that are being evaluated. Recently, you might have noticed in certain conferences, like the bispecifics and ADCs are taking most of the attention. So that is the idea behind having this specific pages as such. Okay. For example, I'll go to the ADC module. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is the ADC module. Here you can see the analytics, like what are the top ADC drugs based on the number of trials. So that is the first analytic. I'm just going on full screen such that is very clear to the audience. So here we can see the top drugs which are segregated based on the phase of the trials. And you can click on each segment to see those specific trials also.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. All the associated trials can be looked into by a click.
correct, correct. So it is just one click away. And we have the top conditions that are treated by ADC. Again, this is based on the number of trials. We have the top targets. ADCs will have the targets and payloads. So we have mentioned the top targets over here. Again, this is based on the number of trials. Okay. We have the top payloads and top linkers also. So right now we have it based on the trials. The bars are based on the trials, but if someone is interested or someone wants any specific information, do reach out to us. We have the entire data available. We should be able to help. Okay. And quickly, I'm moving to the trials tab. So here you can see all the ADC related trials. Okay. So here we have the number of publications related to the specific trial and expos also. One interesting thing for the ADC is the heat map.
Okay. I see there's very much interest in heat maps lately from
Correct.
Larval, of course.
Yes. So here we can see to the y-axis, we see the drugs. To the x-axis, we have the cancer types. And each of the heat is determined based on the phase of the trials. Upon that, we also mention like if there is any update for that particular trial, we'll be highlighting it. If it is a filed or terminated, we'll be mentioning that information also specifically in the form of symbols. So you can see like little symbols, variant colors and everything. So this is a well-defined heat map for all the ADCs.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Next
We
we
do
have
have
the
the
pipeline.
pipeline. Yep.
Hmm?
Go ahead, Tal,
Yes.
please.
Yeah. So we do have the pipeline as you mentioned. So here we show all the ADC drugs which are in clinical pipeline. I'm specifying on clinical because we don't cover the preclinical information as such for now. Okay. So you can see the drugs, the company's target, payload, linkers, and phase of that particular drug, like at what phase the drug is, and the number of trials linked to that specific drug. So the payload information and the linker information is more accurately covered. So you can also see like whether the linker is cleavable or non-cleavable also. And if there is no linker, we'll be mentioning it as like linkerless.
Okay, we're covering all the angles, and
Correct.
happy to take input from the audience, of course. If there's anything that you feel we might be missing, please go
Yes,
ahead. We really welcome the feedbacks.
sure. Okay. The other tab is the timelines. Timelines are the upcoming milestones happening in terms of the ADC module. Okay. Here we can see like the event date, the drug, for which drug it is happening, and what is the trial that is taken into reference, what is the event. It can be a breakthrough therapy or any approval that has happened or any specific release. It can be a P2 data or P3 data. So that information, and along with that, we also inform like a one liner or two liner text considering the event information. So all the information you can see it over here.
Which tab was this again?
This is the timelines tab, which some people call it as milestones also.
Okay. So this is a new release, if I should say that, on Lavo Clean,
Yes,
and we believe in building in public. Again, we are being we are so there's plenty of people that have streamed in today. Thank you to everybody who did, and yeah, really appreciate you listening to us. If there's any questions, please leave them in your comment section. If you're interested in Larval Clean or you have any other thoughts about Larval, please feel free to get in touch with us. We are all very engaged on social media, so please feel free to write me, Kalpana, Bruno, anybody in the company, and we would be happy to help you with Larval Clean. Really appreciate the time, Kalpana. Thank you very much for this. Anything else
sure.
before we close?
More exciting things are coming up. We are trying to launch the diagnostic tab. We are trying to launch the biomarkers tab, which we'll be talking in the upcoming sessions, of course. And apart from that, we are trying to build the key population tab more standard in a more informative way. We are trying to build the regimen 360 pages. Right now, we have the drugs, but what happens when it is given in a combination? And are there any approvals or guidelines in a combination? So, more exciting content or more exciting data is being explored, or it would be available in CLIN going forward.
It seems good news, and I'm sure the audience is looking going to be looking forward to that as well. We will close the call
Yes.
here. And again, appreciate everybody of you joining. Thank you, Kalpana, again. Have a very nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.